Hey guys, in this video we're just going to be discussing the NBA draft lottery and what we thought about every pick from the Suns all the way down to Denver and Michael Porter Jr. We'll get into that, but make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you like what you heard, you can listen to the whole podcast on YouTube and iTunes and SoundCloud. So the links to that should be in the description, and enjoy the video. Okay, so the Suns picked first, and obviously they picked DeAndre Ayton, which we all expected, and then they traded for Mikal Bridges. So how do you think the Suns did in the draft?
I like a lot what the Suns did, man. DeAndre Ayton, he has the potential to be a great center in this league. I don't care if he looks like he's 28 or whatever they're saying about him, whether it's in the Bahamas or the United States. He was a great pick. They needed a center because, I mean, Tyson Chandler is well over on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah.
And the other guy, Alex Len, like, he's not going to be a superstar of a star at all. He's an okay bench player, but I don't see him being this reliable starter for 82 games in the season. That's where DeAndre Ayton comes in. They addressed a really important position on their roster, and it was smart of them to do that. Now, as for Mikal Bridges, you already know that, and we've argued about this, so you already know. I was adamant about the Knicks getting Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
Am I mad that we got Kevin Knox? Hell no. Am I mad that Philadelphia drafted Mikal Bridges? Kind of, yeah, being from Camden and then this the Philly influence and all that crap. But what really just baffled me the most about the Mikal Bridges trade, and it kind of made me feel bad, is that his mother had been working within the organization for years. He even had a locker room dedicated to him during the season last year. And then they just go and trade him while he's still talking with his Knicks. I mean, not his Knicks cap. Oh, my God, I wish. The Sixers cap on him. And then next thing you know, he doesn't even know that he's traded. It really made me feel bad as somebody from the area.
Yeah, I felt bad for him. He went to high school, college. He was going to go play for the Sixers. His mom works there. He had the hat on. And then, he was just talking to the media after the trade broke. And he didn't even know, so I definitely felt bad for him.
His mom should have just quit after that. I would have been very heartbroken, whether I'm her or her son, and I feel really bad.
Definitely.
Next pick is don't leave me hanging.
Kings? Marvin Bagley?
Oh yeah, Marvin Bagley to the Kings. I think that was a good pick, but I feel like based off of team needs, and maybe even just raw potential at the very least, they should have gotten Luka Doncic. But then again, Buddy Hield isn't exactly a point guard. He's a shooting guard. But they could have also made Luka Doncic, if I'm pronouncing his name right, the small forward on that team, because he's, 6'8" and 230. So I think they should have gotten him, but Marvin Bagley is also a great pick because he's a versatile player who can play multiple positions. I believe his primary is power forward, but I believe he can also play small forward and center in certain situations as well.
Yeah.
So that was a good pick. What do you think about Marvin Bagley?
I think it was the safe pick because Doncic you really don't know what he's going to become, and I think Marvin Bagley is just like a guaranteed future All-Star. So I think it was a pretty good pick for them. And they already have a point guard, so they...
Yeah, right. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Who's a hell of a good player. I wanted the Knicks to get him, but then the Knicks fell way too far out of the lottery, but I digress. Next pick was... who was it?
Mavs, Doncic.
So they had Doncic. They got him from the Atlanta trade, of course, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
That was a great pick for Dallas. I thought the Mavericks would get Mo Bamba, but granted the trade, I think it was the safe thing to do to get... what's his name? Oh my God, I forgot already. Doncic. But at the same time, I like the Trae Young pick too for Atlanta, especially if Dennis Schroeder says he doesn't want to be in Atlanta anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you could have like a relatively undersized backcourt with Trae Young and Dennis Schroeder. Of course, I will put Schroeder at point guard because I'm sure as the more experienced player, he'd be a better ball-dominant player this early on. And Mikal Bridges can learn how to move without the ball and use that to his advantage, especially as a perimeter threat. Yeah. Especially when you consider Trae Young that a lot of people got on him for was how well he could protect the ball. So if he's going to be a turnover machine in the NBA, maybe it's better that he doesn't play on the ball all the time, and you just let him kind of just settle into that.
Yeah. I agree. And going back to the Mavs pick, there's a whole bunch of reporting going on at the Mavs could get DeMarcus Cousins. So a lineup of Dennis Smith, Doncic, Harrison Barnes, Dirk, and DeMarcus Cousins could actually be pretty solid.
That'd be a great team. It would be an amazing way to send Dirk Nowitzki off. Dirk Nowitzki is like one of my favorite players ever, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree. He's a top 3 power forward in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a great inside-outside threat, and he does deserve to be sent off on his own terms. So if they were to land DeMarcus Cousins, not only would it be a huge improvement from Salah Mejri, but it'd be a huge improvement from Nerlens Noel. That's why I thought that Dallas would go and get Mo Bamba.
Yeah, and Dirk gets to mentor Doncic, who's also a European, obviously, which should be fun for him.
Of course.
All right, let's move on to the Grizzlies, who selected Jaren Jackson Jr.
All right, Jaren Jackson Jr. He's kind of like Frank Ntilikina. He was a relatively high pick, not exactly this superstar on offense yet, but he's a damn good defender, which in itself kind of warrants the pick, because I don't think a team like the Grizzlies wants to just rebuild so soon, because for one, they've been a model organization that no one really talks about in recent years, up until last season, where they kind of just had a fallout situation. Isdale getting fired, and Marc Gasol pointing fingers and all that crap. And even if they wanted to rebuild, I'm not sure how far that would get them. I'm not sure the exact cap situation of Memphis, but they gave Mike Conley like $140 million. So yeah.
And Parsons, he's got.
Yeah, his contract is terrible. I used to like Chandler Parsons when I was younger, but he really just fell off.
Yeah, he hasn't played at a decent amount in the past couple of seasons, so.
Yeah, he hasn't. Sometimes it's just about politics, but I mean, it doesn't really equate when your player's not even there. I mean, for example, Joakim Noah, they had 71 million reasons to start him over Willie Hernangomez throughout that season. Yeah. 71 million. Willie Hernangomez is some random Spanish kid that we traded for from Philadelphia. But Chandler Parsons, he's just vanished, for better or worse. And it's just why do you want to give this guy an albatross contract? I'm not necessarily talking about those two in particular. It's from a general standpoint. Even people criticize the Knicks for Tim Hardaway signing, which is about the same as Noah signing. So yeah.
Yeah, remember that one game this season where Chandler Parsons hit a ridiculous amount of threes in the half?
Dang, I didn't watch enough of the Grizzlies to see that. And I love seeing that team play every now and then. But they don't have Zach Randolph no more. They don't have Tony Allen. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying about them not trying to rebuild. I think they're trying to retool rather than rebuild. Because they can't really rebuild. And at the same time, that's why they were trading down. Because they didn't want to get a lottery pick necessarily. So yeah, at least not very, very high lottery pick, because Knox is still a lottery pick, as you can tell by the Knicks.
Wait, what position does Jaren Jackson Jr. play?
I believe he's a power forward. He can also play center.
Okay, so I guess I'll have him next to Marc Gasol.
Right. In that front court. Mm-hmm.
All right. That's actually a pretty good front court.
Yeah, because Marc Gasol, he's a good facilitator, especially at the center position. You don't got guys like him nowadays, except for maybe Nikola Jokic, who's just starting to scratch the surface. So, yeah.
Okay. Next we have the Hawks, which you've already talked about, but I definitely like the Trae Young pick for them.
Me too. That's a very good decision, man. And I forgot the other guy that they drafted, but he's literally built like Klay Thompson.
Yeah, he's a shooter.
200-some pounds. Yeah, I think they're trying to imitate the Golden State Warriors to an extent.
Yeah, I saw somebody say that I don't know if it's their GM, but somebody working for Atlanta was part of the management when Golden State was built. So he's just kind of replicating what they have over there.
So maybe it is an imitation. It's more like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, looks like it. Next pick, we have the Orlando Magic, who selected Mo Bamba.
I kind of have mixed feelings about this pick. I'm guessing that the Magic were going best player available. See, granted that Trae Young was already picked, and that's who I expected the Magic to get, because they have literally no point guards whatsoever, unless you consider DJ Augustin and Sheldon Mack to be worth anything. So, for them to have Mo Bamba, I know that Vucevic is getting kind of older, but he's still a pretty productive player. And when you consider the situation of the Mavericks, he's the most... I said the Mavericks, I meant the Magic. Oh, my God. He's probably the most productive player on that team behind Aaron Gordon. So, for them to just say, yeah, screw Vucevic, we're going to go with the youth movement, isn't a terrible idea. If I were the Magic, I probably would have just traded down so I could have gotten a guy like maybe like the Spurs, Lonnie Walker, or say, let me think, a shooting guard. I can't think of a shooting guard. Oh, well. But even then, they wouldn't even have to trade down. Do you know who was available? What point guard was available at their pick?
Oh, Sexton?
Right. So, yeah, that's kind of a head-scratcher for me. But it doesn't really matter anyway, because knowing the Magic, they're just going to squander their big-name player, and then they're just going to leave a free agency. It just keeps happening. And I'm not saying that to hate on Orlando.
Yeah.
Because I like the players that they've had over the years. I told you about how Hardaway was one of my favorite players. When I was growing up as a little kid, I wanted to be the next Shaq. I wanted to play basketball. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like the pick for the Magic, but I just kind of feel bad for Mo Bamba. Like you're just saying, like, he's pretty much destined to not have anything great in his career until he leaves. Like, he's going to be the third great center who's going to, like, put up numbers for the Magic and then just leave after Shaq and Dwight Howard. Because there's...
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't see the Magic getting out of that. They're not going to get any free agents, so I don't know.
Right. And it doesn't help that Orlando's not a very big market either.
No. All right, let's move on to the Bulls, who selected Wendell Carter Jr.
Okay, I like the pick, but my brother, who is a Bulls fan, he doesn't like the pick. But then he was saying, oh, man, we should have got a point guard, a shooting guard. I'm like, I mean, y'all could always resign Zach Levine. I don't know why I keep confusing his first names. But Zach Levine, I believe he's a free agent
He's a restricted free agent.
Oh, so that makes it even easier for the Bulls to resign him as long as somebody doesn't try to, like, give him this crazy offer sheet.
Mm-hmm. The Nets, probably.
Yeah. Wait, you said the Nets, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a good team for him to go to. But I think Wendell Carter Jr. pick was a good pick because even if Markkanen is playing center, or if he's playing power forward, they can put Wendell Carter Jr. in the front court to accompany Lauri Markkanen because people forget Wendell Carter Jr. is a pretty good scorer shooting the ball. So I forgot what his shooting percentage was in college, but from three specifically, but he can be a pretty good stretch big in the league if he continues to develop his three-point shot.
Yeah, that's going to be a good front court, and they have Dunn and Levine in the backcourt, which has looked pretty good last year. So they just need to get a small forward.
Yeah, you're right. But that's why I kind of thought they would get MPJ. But Wendell Carter Jr. is a big, imposing guy, so he can be a force on both ends of the floor if they take the time to develop him.
Mm-hmm. Next we have the Cavs taking Collin Sexton, which I think everyone pretty much guessed they would do, but...
Yeah, I love the pick, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because, for one thing, they haven't had a point guard since Kyrie left because I forgot who was their starting point guard in the beginning of the year. But
Derrick Rose.
Wait, how many games did he start for them? Oh, my goodness.
He started all the games that he was healthy until he got traded, or until IT came back, and then IT started.
Yeah, I have really mixed feelings about that. So that means Derrick Rose got traded to Utah or whatever team, Rodney Hood, and they traded for George Hill from, I forgot what team he was coming from. I think he went to the Jazz too. The Kings. Okay, the Kings. I knew it was some team in the West. And then you get all these 3-and-D players for LeBron, because LeBron's a slasher. You know he's going to want to kick it out to some guys on the perimeter because that makes him even more dangerous. And next thing you know, it just blows up in their faces. You don't really have much to work with because of that. With the Collin Sexton pick, you get a point guard, an athletic point guard, even though he's only like 6'1", so he's barely even taller than I am. He's so explosive. He may not be a great shooter, but he's a playmaker. He's a slasher.
So he's kind of like John Wall.
Yeah, but shorter. I mean, maybe not as great a defender, but pound for pound, I'd say he's more athletic. Granted, he's a bit smaller. But the thing about that is, knowing LeBron, if it were up to LeBron to make that pick, I don't think he would have went for someone like Collin Sexton, because Sexton's not a great shooter. Yeah, he can shoot threes, but he's not like somebody you have to worry about consistently behind the arc.
Yeah, you're right. Do you think the pick has any effect on LeBron James staying in Cleveland?
No, because to put things into perspective, I love the enthusiasm Collin Sexton for kind of reaching out to LeBron, saying he should come back if he want to win another championship or go to another championship. Because let's be real, the Cavs don't have enough pieces to play with Golden State. No one does. It's okay.
Yeah.
But if I were LeBron, I think I'd be appeased enough to let someone like, say, Collin Sexton become the point guard, run the point, bring the ball up the court, all that stuff. But is that really going to be enough? Because Kevin Love, though he's still a pretty solid and productive player, he's getting older. He's gotten hurt a lot. You don't really have a center. Now, if they can get DeAndre Jordan or whoever to come in, that would be a blessing for them.
Yeah.
So maybe they'd actually have some hype going into this season, but that's all wishful thinking. And even after what I just said, they still don't really have a shooting guard.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You can't start J.R. Smith another season, I don't think. He's just not that player anymore.
No, you do not start a mid-36 man not named Jamal Crawford. Don't even start Jamal Crawford. They're 6 men for a reason. They can't play defense.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's the one question mark at that point, because even without DeAndre Jordan, Tristan Thompson, when he wants to be, has shown that he can be a productive player. But the problem is he's only shown that so often in recent years. He's vanished ever since 2015, in my opinion, honestly.
Yeah. The year they won the finals that he was good?
Yeah, that was after they overcame 3-1 deficit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then he got out-rebounded by Curry the next finals, so.
I don't know, man. I was thinking Tristan Thompson was finally about to prove his worth. He was a first-rounder. He was drafted the same year as Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know. He's a hustle player, so it's not like he has that much skill. So if he's going to bring the energy, then he's going to be good. So it's really up to him.
Yeah, because you always got to work on your consistency. And he's still relatively young, so it's not like he can't turn his career around either.
That's
but
true.
I don't see him as a center because he's only like 6'8", 6'9". Don't put 6'8", 6'9" at center, especially if you're not going small.
Uh-huh. And he can't shoot, so it's not like you can really use him in a small ball lineup. So.
Right.
Okay, let's move on to our New York Knicks at number 9. What do you think?
I really enjoyed this pick, but I already talked to you earlier about how I felt about Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
I love Knox because I've been keeping an eye on him throughout the college season. University of Kentucky is a very good school. John Calipari is a really good coach. And some people are going to discredit Knox because he played under John Calipari. Like, oh, no, he's only good because he played with John Calipari. No, Kentucky's just a good program. They know how to develop their players, period. Kevin Knox, I think, is NBA ready despite being only just, 2 years older than me. And I'm about to be 17. He's about to be 19. But like I said, Kevin Knox, my problem with him isn't his offense. I think he can still be a double-digit scorer out the door for New York and a quality starter because he's very versatile. He's not an athletic finisher. He's a smooth finisher, however. He can shoot off the dribble and create his own shot, which is really, really valuable for anyone who's not a point guard or shooting guard, especially, because you kind of expect that with the game being the way it is now to have some shot creators. Hell, even I became a shot creator over time by playing basketball on the street. But the thing about Knox that I think Mikal can't compare with, and I'll finally admit this, and you were right, is that Knox has way more potential and arguably has the most potential in the draft. It's just about what he does defensively, in my opinion, for his first few seasons.
Okay.
Because I think he has a great skill set for a rookie offensively. Now, for the defense, he's not a terrible defender, but he can be better. He can be a lot better, especially as he transitions into the NBA. And as a younger guy, usually, unless you see, all right, for example, Frank Ntilikina, a guy like him, a young guy is probably not going to be a great defender out there. And you have some of the league's best players playing that same position, like LeBron, Kawhi, KD, Antetokounmpo. So, I mean, he's standing up as tall as some of those guys, but is he as good? Those guys, no. So, of course, he has a lot of time to learn. He has a lot of time to grow and develop. So I'm happy about the pick, even if I did want Knox more. But the thing about, I meant to say Bridges, Mikal Bridges. I don't know why I said Knox. We did get Knox. So, yeah, Mikal Bridges, I wanted him really badly because I felt like he was the most NBA-ready player that would be available at our pick. But, hey, Kevin Knox is a really good player, too, and I'm really disappointed in a lot of people, not just Knicks fans, but basketball fans in general, who think Knox will be a bust because maybe he shouldn't have been drafted over Bridges or MPJ. And honestly, I would have drafted Bridges over MPJ, but I'm not a GM. But to see what Kevin Knox has in store already, scoring-wise, is really promising because, I mean, any team could use a versatile wing scorer. But also any team could use a really good two-way, 3-and-D prototypical shooting guard / small forward. And even though Knox isn't a shooting guard, he can play small forward and power forward. So if you go small out of a 6'9" power forward, that could create a lot of mismatches on paper.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if Fizdale says Knox can be a starter as soon as he becomes an official NBA player, as in when he finally debuts on the floor, then I'll have at it.
Okay, a few things I want to touch on with Knox. I think the defense, I think he has the tools to be a really good defender, actually. I think it was just he didn't have the motor, and he was just kind of, I guess, lazy when playing defense at Kentucky. So I think he has the tools. Like, if you see the Clicks video on YouTube, the same exact thing was said about Paul George. Like, the same exact thing. It was almost word for word. And Paul George is, like, a great defender, like one of the best in today's game. So.
And it's funny because Paul George didn't come into the league as a good defender either.
Yeah.
He got better as he matured. See, the thing with Knox, he has pretty similar, comparable measurements to Paul George, as well as another guy like Jason Tatum, who we just saw turn the league around in 2017, not 16. So, in 2017-18, almost helped the Celtics just propel through the playoffs and have their first final since 2008. But hey, he's still young. It just goes to show the Celtics are probably going to be the best team in the East for a long time once LeBron decides to get out of there.
Them are the Sixers.
So, do we talk about Zaire Smith?
Why would we talk about Zaire? Oh, he's going to Philadelphia? I totally forgot. Yeah, so you can touch on him a little bit. I honestly don't know too much about him, but what do you think?
For some reason I can't remember what school he went to. I don't know why. I don't know. He reminds me a lot of Danny Green when Danny Green was younger. This real athletic, lanky 6'7" guy. Even though I think Gerald Green is still a pretty decent player in his own right off the bat. I think Zaire Smith is a really, really interesting draft specimen. Even though I'm not going to say he'll be like the Ben Simmons. I mean, why do I keep messing up the names? The Donovan Mitchell of this year's draft. I feel like he could really make a name for himself by his athleticism alone. But see, you can have the athleticism, but you also need the intelligence, the IQ to play the position that you have to play a sport in general. But usually, like I said, athleticism can take you a long way. So let's say you're not that skilled offensively or defensively on paper, but then you add that athleticism, it gives you a bit of an upper hand than what you would have had to start with. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about Zaire Smith.
Okay, so what do you think about that trade we talked about? We talked about it for the Suns. So what do you think about the trade from Philadelphia's perspective? Do you think it was good for them to trade Mikal Bridges for the Smith and the first-round pick I think they also got?
From an ethical standpoint, no. But otherwise, I think Zaire Smith will be a pretty good player for Philadelphia. Even though I don't think Philadelphia is the best organization in basketball, because they've done some questionable stuff in the past, and more recently the GM making burner accounts to berate his own players. What an idiot! I think it was a good trade for both teams. It was a win-win because Mikal Bridges can develop into a small forward, or even just not a shooting guard unless they put Devin Booker at point guard. Either way, I guess it depends on what they do with T.J. Warren. Or they could get rid of him.
They got to move Josh Jackson to power forward and use Mikal at small forward, yeah.
Yeah, because Justin Jackson is big enough to play both small forward and power forward.
Yeah.
Mikal, not so much. He's more of a shooting guard / small forward, a wing, per se.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on, we have the Hornets. They selected Miles Bridges, right?
Jesus Christ. Can't the Hornets do anything right? Like, when I saw that they traded, I don't even remember where they drafted Giggity Alexander. Giggity Alexander, we'll call him that for now because I almost just butchered it. See, I'm not even pronouncing his first name right. Oh my God, his name is just giving me aneurysm. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has like everything that Ntilikina does. The defense and the playmaking ability, but not so much the offense. And last year, people were just going in on the Knicks for drafting Ntilikina over DSJ. They still do it because they're petty. So tell me how Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is what an NBA team needs if Ntilikina wasn't. Does that just mean Ntilikina was ahead of his time? I don't know. But they traded him anyway. So let's talk about Miles Bridges. I like Miles Bridges a lot. He's not the biggest guy. He's about 6'7", but he's 230, big, strong, athletic guy. Can score, can rebound pretty well. And I think the only thing about Mikal, the only thing about Miles that I may not like always is his shot selection.
Yeah.
Because there were some games throughout the playoffs. I forgot what game Michigan State played. But Miles Bridges, I think, went like 3 of 12 in the game. It wasn't because he was getting locked down, but he just wasn't taking the right shots. I think he'll be a great player for the Hornets as long as they don't do to him what they did to Malik Monk. God forbid.
Do you think the Hornets are going to go into a full rebuild mode and trade Kemba Walker, or is MJ just too stubborn and he's just going to sell tickets to barely make the playoffs or something?
I mean, the Hornets, historically, their status quo is being mediocre. Not good enough to compete, not bad enough to tank. So, they're not a terrible team, but they're a mediocre team. And being mediocre is honestly the worst case scenario for any team in the NBA because with the lack of parity, if you can't compete, you can't compete.
Yeah.
So you might as well just lose. That's why the Sixers kept tanking with Sam Hinkie until they finally told him to just screw off. So with the Hornets, though, I think Kemba Walker, he should be traded, but I feel like he should have been traded sooner. I think he should have been traded after the was it 16? Yeah, I think he should have been traded after the 2016 season because 2015 was the last year that we really seen a good Hornets team. They could trade Kemba Walker to a team like the Spurs or even the Cavaliers if they're daring enough, but they're not going to get anything back from the Cavs unless they give them some like future picks and like give them Collin Sexton. But still,
why would the Cavs do that? I feel like Collin is better to have than Kemba is a free agent. In a few years, he'll probably leave.
Exactly. That's why I'm thinking they can't really get much trade value now for Kemba. That's why I said they should have done it sooner.
Yeah.
If they were going to do it, they should have done it like 2016 or 17. Shoot, it even looked like the Knicks were going to get him.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, wait, one more thing though.
Yeah.
He needs to leave. Like, I don't care. He just needs to go. Like, Kemba Walker is one of my favorite players in the NBA. He needs to leave the Hornets as soon as possible because they need to rebuild. They need to clean the slate. They didn't have a really good coach in Steve Clifford. They don't have a good front office. They don't have any good players. I mean, they traded Dwight Howard for a bag of chips only for him to get bought out, apparently. Next thing you know, MKG, he averages like 13 points a game 1 year and then does absolutely nothing on offense and frickin' vanishes because he's either hurt or not playing offense because he can't even shoot. He can only play defense. He reminds me a lot of like Lance Thomas in terms of like his build and size.
Yeah.
Even Lance Thomas can offer some like occasional offense. I can't even say that for MKG. MKG is just this crazy lockdown defender who you can just sag off on the other end. So yeah, it's just the Hornets. They need to go in a rebuild mode.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And like, I feel like mediocrity is just kind of annoying because like the Wizards, like you think they're in a good place because they're like a solid team, but if you think about it, how are they ever going to get any better? Because they have like no cap, and their players aren't going to improve that much, and so they're just going to go like 8 years of being good. They're never going to win a championship, and then they're going to have to trade John Wall or something for draft picks. So they're just like 10 years behind these teams like the Suns that are rebuilding in terms of winning a championship.
Because you can only be stubborn for so long in the NBA when you're just in the middle of the pack. You do just enough to make the playoffs like the Bulls did in 2016. Then you realize why that was a bad idea because you just screw up your draft position and you're in the playoffs for no reason. So then next thing you know, you need to rebuild. You have nothing. Now with the Wizards, I don't think the Wizards like playoff window is closed, but let's be real. They're not coming out of the East, let alone winning a finals.
Yeah.
Maybe if they had a better center than Marcin Gortat because he's really fallen off the past few years, and they had somebody that was like actually notable at power forward. I mean, they have Otto Porter, but he's a small forward.
Yeah, they don't have the money to sign anybody though, because they paid Otto Porter like $100 and something million for whatever reason.
Yeah, they're in cap space out. They should have just let him. They should have just let the Nets take him because that wouldn't have messed up their cap as much.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Mm-hmm. So now they're pretty much stuck for the next 5 years.
Better bring them trades to life. That's our new franchise player, Otto Porter, if it need to be. Shoot.
All right. So I guess we move on to the Clippers. I don't even remember who they picked. Do you remember?
I think they were the ones that originally were. Oh my God, Gilgeous-Alexander from the Hornets. So I'm guessing they originally picked Miles Bridges.
Yeah, and traded him. And then
yeah, so they must have also gotten.
They got like this Jerome something.
That wasn't the guy from. No, the guy from. No, that's Mitchell. Wait, no, I can't remember. See, this draft is just such a cluster cluck.
Yeah, they got Shea something Alexander, whatever the hell his name is, and they got Jerome.
Yeah, I don't know.
They got Jerome Robinson with the 13th
Nobody
pick.
cares. Nobody cares about Jerome Robinson. He's a power forward, right?
No, he's a shooting guard.
Who the fuck is Jerome? See, of all the players that got drafted this season, he was one of the players. He was one of the very few players that I didn't know who was. Like, to me, Jerome Robinson was a terrible pick. Not necessarily because he's going to be a bust, and because I think he's a nobody, but because I don't think they were in any hurry to get a freaking shooting guard of all positions.
Yeah.
He needed a small because Danilo Gallinari's getting old. They could have gotten a power forward as well and just have him play next to Tobias Harris either way.
Yeah.
You put Tobias Harris at the 4, have this small forward they draft at the 3, and it's just, why didn't you just keep Miles Bridges?
Yeah, either that,
rob yourself.
Or just take Michael Porter with one of your picks. You have 2 picks. It's a free pick. Why not just take a chance on Michael Porter?
I'm really, really annoyed with like the stigma about MPJ. I don't care if he has a back injury. He should not fall all the way to 18. Okay? I don't care if you only played 3 games in college. You got players who used to just go straight to the NBA after high school. And in the ABA, they were drafting kids out of fucking middle school. and they played well, okay? The novelty, I get it. But in the NBA, like I said, you have professional players who were drafted straight out of high school. Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, freaking Kwame Brown. They were all transcendent talents in high school.
Yeah.
MPJ was a transcendent talent in high school. Only problem is you got the one and done rule now, which means you have to go to college for at least 1 year before you go to the NBA.
Yeah.
So to have MPJ not stay another year is, of course, a bad look. But that shouldn't mean, oh no, he's going to ruin our team. He's a bust because he broke his back. No, he's still young. It's like what I say about Porzingis. Yeah, he tore his ACL, but he's still young. So believe me, there's as good of a chance for MPJ to still be productive as there is anyone in the league as far as I'm concerned. Dude's only like 20.
Yeah.
He's only like 20, yeah. He's got a lot of time to grow and recover.
Yeah, honestly, there were so many picks so many teams that I thought would pick Michael Porter. I thought the Cavs might take him. And when the Cavs didn't take him, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted us to take him because
I didn't really want to take him. I just didn't want us to take anyone not named Mikal Bridges.
Well, we did, but I wanted us to take Michael Porter because I didn't think he would fall to us. I was surprised he fell to us, and I got mad when we passed on him for Kevin Knox. But then to see all these teams pass on him, I really didn't feel bad about us passing on him because there must be something really bad about this guy's medical report if so many teams are willing to pass on him.
Yeah, I think he was blackballed by the league to some extent, but I still feel like you gotta give the guy a chance. If he was he was the number 1 prospect for a reason.
Yeah, 1 year ago, just 1 year ago.
Yeah. And then you just turn on you. That just seems kind of fair weather by the front offices. Of course, granted, there's safer picks because they're not all injury prone and made out of glass bones. But that didn't mean that MPJ should have been canceled out for that long.
Mm-hmm. Now imagine if he turns out to be like a talent like we thought he would. The Nuggets are going to be really good. They have Murray, they have Harris, a very underrated backcourt. Then MPJ. Paul Millsap and Jokic. Like that's a really good lineup.
That's low-key a super team.
Yeah.
Even though Paul Millsap's getting older, but Gary Harris is only getting better.
Same with Murray.
Right. And then you have Nikola Jokic, who's like Marc Gasol 2.0. He's like Marc Gasol with a jump shot. Not to say Gasol's a bad shooter, but I think Jokic will probably be a better shooter.
Yeah, Jokic is insane, especially his passing.
See, I was on the Jokic bandwagon before it was cool because I think it was last season, 2016, early 2017 calendar year. Nuggets came to New York, and I was just watching Jokic cook Porzingis. I was getting so mad. I'm like, yo, I knew Jokic was good, but how y'all letting him drop 43 at the Garden? No,
yeah.
This is exactly what Fizdale was talking about. You don't want these cats out of New York to come up to the Garden and say, oh, yeah, I love to play in New York. Oh, I'm the king of New York. Oh, yeah, I got my best games at NY. Yeah, I'm from NY. Nah, no. You got to make them feel intimidated, apprehensive, scared to play in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it just kind of goes back to that with Jokic. That's how I felt about him when I first saw him. And I was really hoping that he'd be enough to build around, though, too, after I saw what he did in 2016. And he was, because you have two good guards in the backcourt for them now. You have Paul Millsap, who's still a dependable player on both ends of the floor, of course, might I add. And then you have MPJ, who could also take off that load of carrying the offense that Jokic had the past 2 seasons.
Uh-huh. And they have...
So it makes